Hello, this is my channel Everything Reddit. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will try to post videos once a day. Now let's start this video. Posted by you, WildPlankton999. AITA for being resentful at my adoptive parents for refusing to let my biological brother see me after my adoption? I'm 16 years old. I lost my parents when I was 5, and later I was adopted at the age of 6. I have a brother who is 9 years older than me, so he was about 15 when I was adopted and is 25 now. After my adoption, my adoptive parents always told me that my brother didn't want to see me anymore, and I ended up believing it. In reality, he had found them and wanted to see me constantly, but my parents refused to let him. He sent me letters for my birthdays. My parents never showed them to me. I ended up hating and resenting him because I felt like he abandoned me. Well, due to some circumstances, I am now in touch with my brother and have known the truth for about 6 months, and I'm coming back from spending a few weeks with my extended birth family. Turns out my aunt also wanted to see me and for her kids to see me, but my parents didn't allow it. My parents have confirmed this is what they did because they wanted me to not have to carry the baggage from my past and to focus on our family, which didn't include my brother, and wanted me to bond with my adoptive sister instead. I don't buy it. They could have made it work. I spent so much time being angry at my brother for abandoning me when he didn't. And it could have all been avoided. So yeah, I'm angry and resentful, and I don't trust them anymore. I've told them that and told them that adopting me was a mistake. My sister told me that I'm acting out and I'm being ungrateful for everything that our parents have done for me, that I'd still be in foster care if they hadn't adopted me. AITA? Now on to the next story. Posted by you, throwaway scared Bday. When I, 30M, was 5, my family took me to one of those Japanese steakhouses where they cook the food at your table. When the cook lit the grill and the huge flame shot up into the air, it scared the heck out of me, and I ran and hid in the corner and was too afraid to come back to the table. My aunt, 64F, has teased me about that ever since. That was 25 years ago, and I swear she brings it up every single time I see her. I've told her repeatedly to stop talking about it. My parents have also asked her to stop bringing it up, to no avail. It's gotten so tiresome and embarrassing, and she teases me about it in front of the whole family despite me repeatedly telling her to stop. I've never really gotten along well with my aunt, and lately I've made it a point to avoid her at family gatherings. We celebrated my birthday Friday and I wanted to go to one of those Japanese steakhouses. I didn't invite my aunt, but my grandmother invited her behind my back. I didn't know she was coming until she showed up. I was already pissed off that my grandmother invited her. She told me that my aunt is family and I can't just exclude her from everything. But as soon as we sat down, my aunt started ribbing me about that incident when I was 5. I told her to stop bringing it up and my mom told her to stop as well. But when the cook was fixing to light the hibachi, she asked me in this really condescending way, "You sure you don't want to go hide in the corner for old time's sake?" I finally just lost my temper and went off on her right there in front of the whole restaurant. I basically yelled at her, "Will you just shut up about that already? That was 25 years ago. Is that literally all you have to talk about? I'm sick of hearing about it. This is why I didn't invite you." I swear the entire restaurant must have been staring at me and I felt like just walking out. The entire rest of the dinner was awkward, and I couldn't even enjoy my meal. After we left, my grandmother told me that I embarrassed her in front of everyone and that my outburst was completely uncalled for and that I owed my aunt an apology. My parents told me I didn't owe my aunt anything and were angry at my grandmother for inviting her, but I still feel like an asshole for losing my temper and yelling in front of the restaurant, and the whole thing was deeply embarrassing. My grandmother and my aunt are also both blasting me on Facebook for embarrassing them in public. So, AITA? Now on to the next story. Posted by you, separate_recipe_4077. AITA for not treating my wife like an equal parent by telling her she has no say in the way I bond with my son and also calling her homophobic. When I, 37M, was 17, got my then girlfriend, 16, pregnant with twin boys. Her parents didn't want the babies to ruin her future, so they said that I had to either take them or give them up for adoption because she was not raising them. I wanted to give them up, but my parents told me not to. For the first 7 years of my boys' lives, I didn't act like a father and was more like a big brother. They knew I was their father though. But we never bonded like father-sons. When I was ready to move out, I wanted to do it without them, but my dad let me know it was my responsibility, so I had to take them. I didn't want it at first, but I'm glad it happened. We started bonding as father-sons. I started loving them and their love for me increased. I remember the three of us would sit on the couch to watch movies. One would sit on my left and one on my right while I wrapped my arms around them. They'd put their heads on my chest and I often kissed their forehead. We've been doing this since they were 7. I met my current wife 5 years ago. My kids were 15. We married 3 years ago after we welcomed our daughter, 4F. She saw me doing this with my kids when we watched movies and she never said anything. My kids are no longer living with us because they left for college, but they come to see me every now and then. My boys are 20 now, but they still like to put their heads on my chest while I wrap my arms around them. They do it every time they visit and I'm watching TV. My son, Liam, visited me 2 weeks ago. He came out to me as gay and introduced me to his BF. I don't care how my kids live their sexuality or who they love. I love them no matter what. I just want them to be happy and I don't feel any different, and it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable to hug him or kiss his forehead, but it seems that my wife is a little uncomfortable. My son visited me again last Wednesday, since he was here 2 weeks ago, so the first time, officially out. I was watching Red with my daughter. She was on my left. Then my son Liam arrived. He was tired and sat on my right, put his head on my shoulder while I wrapped my arm around him. Then I kissed his forehead and said, "Good to have you back, buddy." We went to sleep and the next day my wife told me that it made her feel uncomfortable, me hugging and kissing my son, and asked me not to do it again while she doesn't mind me doing it with Lucas, my other son, straight. She doesn't want me to do it with Liam. I told her that she has no business being in my relationship with my sons. I also called her homophobic. She accused me of not treating her like an equal parent to my sons. Thus I said, "That's okay because you are not." My brother says I should understand because this is a big change for her, a son coming out. But seriously think there is nothing to get used to. This isn't neither her nor my problem who my son loves. Am I in the wrong? Now on to the last story. Posted by you, Mini Fridge Throwa. AITA for buying a mini fridge to stop my roommate from eating my food when she has no money to buy any. 19F. Go to a really expensive college. I'm lucky because not only did I get a scholarship, but my parents are wealthy and I can get money whenever I want. My roommate on the other hand isn't as lucky. She comes from a poor background and has to work because her parents can't pay her tuition and she doesn't even have a partial scholarship. She often takes my food because she wants to spend most of her spare money on makeup, clothes, decorations and paying for her monthly payment to the school, so I allowed her to eat the food I bought. The issue was that she started eating too much. I understand eating 3 to 4 times a day, but my roommate literally ends a whole fridge full of food in less than 2 weeks and I got to eat less than 25% of what I had bought. It got to the point I had asked her to cut it down a bit and she got offended asking me if I was calling her fat, to which I replied, "No, I'm calling you a binge eater." She said she'd stop but she never did. Last week I got fed up because I had bought my favorite cake from a bakery 30 minutes away and it costed me $120 and I put a little note on it that said, "You can eat some but please leave me half." Smiley face. And when I came home that same day, she had eaten the whole cake and the note said, "Sorry, hope you didn't mind, I was hungry and stressed." I ordered a mini fridge from Amazon, and it arrived at my house 4 days ago and I immediately went shopping for things I would eat and that could last me at least 1 to 2 weeks. I'd rather have less food supply than paying for more and having less. It's in my room and my room is always locked when I'm not home. Yesterday I was lying in bed when she barges in and says, "Hey, the fridge is kinda empty. When are you going to buy more food?" I told her, "I'm not," and she got mad and told me I knew her situation and I should be a real friend and buy food for her. Then she saw the mini fridge and she started losing it. Really don't even remember what she said. Now her friends are texting me asking me why I decided to stop buying food for us when that was the agreement. I'm sure she's telling them a twisted side of the story, but I still want to know AITA.